Hi, so in this video we're going to verify these three hyperbolic identities. Now we're going to begin with number 1. So we can rewrite hyperbolic cosine of x as e raised to x plus e raised to minus x divided by 2. Now this is squared, so we're just going to multiply it by itself. That's the same as squaring it. Minus hyperbolic sine of x is e raised to x minus e raised to minus x divided by 2, and it's squared, so it's just going to be multiplied by the exact same thing. Now we basically want to show that this is equal to 1. Once we've shown that, we're finished. So let's just go ahead and multiply everything out. So we have 2 times 2, which is 4. Now e raised to x multiplied by e raised to x is e raised to 2x. E raised to x plus e raised to minus x is e raised to 0, and e raised to 0 is just 1. So we have plus 1. Then we have e raised to minus x multiplied by e raised to x again, so that's plus 1 again, plus e raised to minus 2x. Now let's just do the exact same thing here. So we have 2 times 2, which is 4. We have e to the x times e to the x, which we know is e to the 2x. We have minus 1 here, minus 1, because e multiplied by minus e to the minus x is just minus e to the 0, and minus e to the 0 is just minus 1. And then we have the exact same thing again. Now we have minus e to the minus x multiplied by minus e to the minus x, so that's positive e raised to the minus 2x. Now what we can go ahead and do is combine this fraction. What we can go ahead and do is simplify this fraction. They have the same denominator, so we can just subtract these terms here. So we have e2x plus 2 plus e minus 2x minus e raised to 2x minus 1 minus 1. So we have a minus 1 here and minus 1, that's minus 2, and we have a minus sign here, so that's positive 2 minus e raised to minus 2x. Now, these two cancel, these two here cancel, and we're just left with 4 over 4, which is equal to 1. And that's number 1. Let's move on to number 2. If we were to start at identity number 1, and we wanted to get to something of this form, what we would just go ahead and do is divide everything by hyperbolic cosine squared of x. That would give us 1 minus hyperbolic tangent of x all squared, and that's equal to hyperbolic secant squared of x. We need to show that the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. Let's first figure out what the right hand side actually is. So we have hyperbolic secant squared of x, and that's just equal to over hyperbolic cosine squared of x, which is just equal to 1 over e raised to x plus e raised to minus x divided by 2 squared. Now let's go ahead and just multiply this out. I'm not going to go through all the details because we've already done it in this part here. So we're going to have 1 over e raised to 2x plus 2 plus e raised to minus 2x divided by 4, and that's going to be equal to 4 over e raised to 2x plus 2 plus e raised to minus 2x. So we basically just need to show that this is equal to this, then we're done. Now let's figure out what hyperbolic tangent squared of x is. We know that we can rewrite this as hyperbolic sine squared of x divided by hyperbolic cosine squared of x. We have e raised to x minus e raised to minus x divided by 2 all squared divided by e raised to x plus e raised to minus 2x divided by 2 all squared. We worked out what these were in the previous problem, so I'm not going to do it again. I'll just quickly see what they are. We're going to have e raised to 2x minus 2 plus e raised to minus 2x divided by 4 divided by e raised to 2x plus 2 plus e raised to minus 2x divided by 4. Simplifying this gives us the 4's cancel. We just have e raised to 2x minus 2x plus e raised to minus 2x divided by e raised to 2x plus 2 plus e raised to minus 2x. Now let's just go ahead and subtract this quantity from 1. So we have 1 minus this. Now, in order to proceed, we're going to have to cross multiply. So we're going to multiply this by this part here. Imagine there's a 1 under here. This 1's going to be multiplied by this part here. And we're going to multiply both the denominators by each other. So that's what I mean when I say cross multiply. So we're going to have e raised to 2x plus 2 plus e raised to minus 2x minus e raised to 2x plus 2 minus e raised to minus 2x divided by e raised to 2x plus 2 plus e raised to minus 2x. Now let's just go ahead and simplify further. These two cancel, so do these two, and we're just left with 4 over e raised to 2x plus 2 plus e raised to minus 2x. And we know from before, from right here, that this is equal to secant squared of x. So that's the second identity. Now let's prove the third and final identity. If we were starting at identity number 1, we would have hyperbolic cosine squared of x minus hyperbolic sine squared of x is equal to 1. If we wanted to get here from this, we would need to divide everything by hyperbolic sine squared of x. That would give us hyperbolic cotangent squared of x minus 1 equals hyperbolic cosecant squared of x. Let's figure out what this quantity is here. We know that it's equal to 1 over hyperbolic sine squared of x, and we know that we can rewrite that using its exponential form as this right here. And we know that this is equal to 1 over e raised to 2x minus 2 plus e raised to minus 2x divided by 4. Now we can simplify further. 4 over e raised to 2x minus 2 plus e raised to minus 2x. So essentially what we need to do is show that we can rewrite this as this. So let's go ahead and attempt to do so. We know that hyperbolic cotangent squared of x is equal to hyperbolic cosine squared of x divided by hyperbolic sine squared of x. We know what this is, so I'm just going to go ahead and write it straight away. And this simplifies to e raised to 2x plus 2 plus e raised to minus 2x divided by e raised to 2x minus 2 plus e raised to minus 2x. And we're going to be subtracting 1 from this. So let's go ahead and cross multiply. So we're going to have e raised to 2x plus 2 plus e raised to minus 2x minus e raised to 2x plus 2 minus e raised to minus 2x, and this is all divided by e raised to 2x minus 2 plus e raised to minus 2x. All I've done here is just, cross multiply as we did before in the previous problem. We can go ahead and simplify the numerator. E raised to 2x minus e raised to 2x gives us 0. E raised to minus 2x minus e raised to minus 2x gives us 0. And we're just left with 4 over e raised to 2x minus 2 plus e raised to minus 2x. And in fact, we know from before that this is equal to hyperbolic cosecant squared of x. And so that is number 3. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more content similar to this. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments below. I hope you have a great day.